PSA for all of my single ladies out there, there's one thing that you need to know to get the guy. And that is that it's not about getting the guy. Hang in here with me because I know I basically just negated the whole thing, right? It's like the one thing we want often when we're single is the dream partner, the dream relationship, the dream life, the dream family. All of that is a byproduct of what I'm about to share with you because there's truly only one thing here, and that is about getting and having ourselves, having full access to ourselves. Now, in full disclosure, I am not sitting here saying this because I got this across the board. I, for fuck sure, do not got this across the board. And this is coming through as reflections on my journey right now and as service to whoever needs to hear this. It's not about getting the guy or the clients or the money or any of the things that we think we want that are outside of us. It is about giving ourselves full access to ourselves and having full access. This is how we become magnetic to anything we desire. So there are a few questions that I want to give to you that I've been asking myself. And these feel like really good guiding questions. These are the questions that will help you on the path to attracting the right people into your life. Because right now, any number of things could be happening. You could not be dating because you've kind of sworn it off because it's been frustrating, or you've had hot and cold, you've had some bad experiences. You could thought you have found love, but then the guy ended up ghosting or breaking up with you, disappearing. You could be getting over heartbreak and healing. You could be looking for love, but not able to find it. Maybe you're not meeting men on your level. Maybe you're not feeling emotionally, spiritually, or physically met. Or maybe you really like some of the guys that you've been dating, and that feeling isn't reciprocal. Wherever you are, these guiding questions are going to help you. And if you happen to be a woman in a relationship, still listen. I'm a woman in a relationship and I am asking myself these questions. Again, this is about coming into full, whole, right relationship with ourselves. That's when we become magnetic to everything we desire. And that's more importantly, that's when we feel whole and well and vital within ourselves. And that's the cheat code to everything. We think that it's about getting the thing outside of us that we want, the lifestyle, the last name that's his, the letters behind our name from degrees and accolades, the validation, the being told we're good enough, the being told by our parents that they're proud of us. Whatever it is we're seeking outside of us, it's not to be found outside of us. So the first question that I am actively asking myself right now is, do I respect myself? And you might ask that same question. Do you respect yourself? Do you consistently act in a way that is in your own highest good? Now, in my own personal experience, as I'm navigating this process for myself, it's not in love, it is in my business. Do I respect do I respect myself? Am I acting in a way that is in my own highest good? Now, I'll give you a quick story. I just had someone pitch me about being a speaker at their event. And initially, I thought, wow, this is a great idea. I'm being pitched. Awesome. I'm doing something right. People are seeing and recognizing the value that I have to offer as a professional. And in that conversation, it turned into a sales call where this person effectively was asking if it would be worth me paying them to speak at this event and doing all of these weird, shady sales tactics. Now, I immediately recognize that because I've been on so many sales calls in my life that I'm like, wait, hold on, what's happening right now? This is really disorienting. And it was a really weird situation. And there was a part of me that even after that call, though I was left feeling really weird and kind of icky, was still considering the opportunity. Now, you might hear that and think, how could you even consider that? Or you might think, hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a good opportunity. Either way, we do this in dating all the time, where we're on a date with someone, we're interacting with someone, maybe it's through a text conversation, And we're left with this really weird sort of icky, cringy feeling inside of ourselves because of something that happened, yet we're still like, well, maybe he's a good guy. Maybe I'll give him another chance. Maybe this, maybe that. And mind you, there's a lot of room for nuance here. Maybe this is a situation that requires a deeper conversation to understand where the guy was coming from. And guy aside, and this person, this salesy person aside, do I respect myself? And what is the decision that I would make in this situation to show myself that I got you? I have a standard for you. I have a standard for how you're interacted with. I have a standard for how you're left feeling. I have a standard for how you operate, where you spend your time, where you spend your energy. And so if we don't have standards and boundaries for ourselves in terms of how we operate, then we're always going to be chasing scraps and accepting things that don't genuinely feel aligned for us. But we have to have a standard and a boundary for ourselves first. So the question I then ask myself is, what is my self-image? How am I viewing myself? Do I view myself right now as the leader in the world that has followers, 100,000 followers on YouTube, or, whatever, that has people banging down her door for opportunities? Now, again, it's not about any of those outside things, but there is a certain way that that version of me who is able to create those external results operates internally, which is why the external reality looks like that. There's a certain way that you, the version of you that already has an incredible man in her life who honors, respects, adores, and cherishes her, who also respects himself, that version of you thinks a certain way, feels a certain way about herself, sees herself in a certain light, has certain boundaries, has certain standards that maybe the version of you right now listening to this hasn't yet established. Doesn't mean the version of you right here and right now isn't as worthy and as important and as valuable as the version of you that already has the result. But in order to create that result in your external life, how would your internal reality need to be set up? How would you need to craft and create that internal reality to have the outside world look the way you want it to look? And I am actively asking myself this in my business. So, do you have healthy standards? Do you have healthy boundaries? And what does that look like for you in dating and love? What does that look like in how you interact on dating apps? In what kinds of dates you say yes to? In when you end a dynamic with somebody? In how you state your needs? In how you assert healthy, loving, kind boundaries? In when you decide to be physically intimate with someone? We have to create a container for ourselves if we want to create a certain reality on the outside. And that starts with getting really clear about what's happening on the inside. The next question I ask is, am I a safe and secure space for myself to land? Are you a safe and secure space for yourself to land? Now, I'm looking at safe and secure in a couple of ways. First thing is, am I a safe space for myself? Am I loving? Am I kind? Am I compassionate? Am I empathetic? Or do I judge myself? Do I criticize myself? If I'm not a safe space for myself to land, then I'm not going to reveal my innermost thoughts, my fears to myself, because I'm going to be waiting for myself to take the whip and whip myself over the back. And of course, I'm not going to see the things that are hiding in my own shadows. Same thing. If you are not a safe space for yourself to land when it comes to how you showed up on a date, the way you did or did not honor your boundary, a fear that you have, then that fear is always going to be acting out behind your own back. So it's got to be safe for you to reveal yourself to yourself. Am I a secure place to land? Now, I view security different than safety. Secure for me feels like I'm being contained and held, which means there are boundaries. There is accountability. I view safety almost as if this like nurturing, feminine, motherly quality, and security as this safe, grounded, unwavering, masculine, fatherly quality. Secure if I don't have healthy boundaries with myself, if I don't have accountability with myself, I'm not going to feel secure. I'm going to feel like anything from the outside could come in and poke at me. There's got to be parameters. There's got to be boundaries, right? Without being walled off and pushing people away and being impenetrable, there has to be a healthy boundary. And the journey that I'm on with myself is learning how to create boundaries for myself in my business, in my self-image. So am I a safe and secure space for myself to land, or do I turn the knife on myself? Do I judge myself? Do I criticize myself? Do I continue to view myself as unworthy? Do I continue to view myself as not having value or unimportant? And there are all sorts of ways that we do that in different areas of our lives. For the context of this video, obviously, where do you do that to yourself in dating and love? Where do you not have boundaries? Where do you let your boundaries be crossed by other people? Where do you let your boundaries be crossed by yourself? Where do you not have standards? Where are you not valuing yourself enough? And again, ask these questions with genuine curiosity, not as a way to judge and criticize yourself. Because if that's the case, then you're never going to make any progress, and you're going to continue to breach trust with yourself. These questions are all about establishing trust, establishing rapport, establishing a healthy, loving relationship. And sometimes a healthy, loving relationship means calling ourselves out on our own bullshit. Do you see yourself as the woman who has the life that she wants? So for you, who is this version of you that has this dream partner, this dream relationship, this dream love life? Like, really get clear on her identity. How does she value herself? What does she think about? What does she spend her time doing? Does she spend her time feeling bad for herself and pitying herself, or criticizing herself and pinching her own fat and being like, I'm never going to find a guy if I don't lose weight? Like, fill in the blank with your destructive narratives, with the things that are actually keeping love out. Often we judge and criticize ourselves because we do it in an attempt to keep ourselves safe. We think it's going to be the thing that is going to get us in line. Finally, if I lose the 10 pounds, then I'll be lovable. Then I'll attract the guy. If I just get a better job, if I just make more money, if I just look the way that this woman looks on Instagram, in the magazine, whatever. But that's actually pushing love away. It's a protective mechanism. So this version of you that has the man and the dream love life, she clearly values herself because she's clearly valued by someone else. How does she spend her time? Does she spend her time living her life, having fun, going after and getting what she wants in life? The dream job, the healthy body, the vitality and wellness. What does she think about? What does she consume? What does she consume food-wise, drink-wise? What does she consume in terms of media? What kinds of shows does she consume? What are her habits? Does she spend her time nitpicking at herself? Probably not. Does she spend her time going out, networking, making new friends, putting herself out there, like living her best life? Yes. So all of these are really, really valuable questions to ask if you want to become the version of you that naturally attracts the guy. That's the real win here, is becoming that version of you, because that version of you can do anything she wants, and she believes it and she knows it. And that becomes magnetic to the kinds of men that you want to attract and to your forever man. Now, listen, we all have a trigger point. We all have some point in us that feels vulnerable. That could be in love, that could be in our career, that could be in our relationship with our family. It could be about the way our hair looks, our skin looks, whatever. We all have some point of vulnerability. The invitation here is to find that point of vulnerability for yourself and ask how you want to continue to strengthen your relationship with yourself in that area where you feel insecure, where you feel like you're not enough, where you feel insufficient. And not to give that any more life. Validate the real feelings that come up around that, the sadness, the pain, the hurt, the hopelessness. Validate those emotions and then decide how you want to show up for yourself so that you can actually have the love life that you want. So the question I want to leave you with is, what are all the ways in which you can show up for yourself that are going to have you already acting as if you are the woman that has the love life you want? And conversely, what are all the ways in which you torture yourself, in which you twist the knife on yourself and you keep yourself stuck? It's equally important to reflect on and come up with answers for each of those questions. We have to know the ways in which we hold ourselves back and the ways in which we can move ourselves forward and be radically honest about both of them without judging or thinking that either is any sort of way other than a really good reflective question. And that's the only work that needs to happen here. The only thing that you need to know to get the guy is how to be in right relationship with yourself. And that's it. All right, if this video was valuable for you, please hit the like button on it, subscribe, leave me a comment, follow me on Instagram and drop me a DM at leenoto_. And thank you so much. And if there's anything else you want to see or hear about, please let me know so I can continue to make videos that are valuable for you. All right, sending much love and good vibes.